You're watching Philadelphia Eagles now. My name is Chase Sr. Hope everybody out there is having a fantastic weekend. That's when this mailbag is going to run and coming up here on the show. Taking questions from our viewers, subscribers, and real ones as we look ahead to the NFL draft. We talk free agency. We look ahead to the 2025 season. That and a whole lot more. Before we take your questions and chop it up, and I always love opening up the floor and being able to have great football conversations with all of you, let's keep dominating. Philadelphia Eagles now, for many months here consecutively, has been one of the most viewed, most trafficked, most popular Eagles channels on YouTube. And we're already approaching 120,000 subscribers. We got past 100K in the divisional round. Crazy growth. Millions of people are watching the show every single month. Our views are just off the chain right now. So with today's show, you see that we're sitting at 117,130 subscribers. How many more subs can we pick up on this video alone? Hit that subscribe button. Lock us in if you want daily coverage of the birds, and I promise you, you won't regret it. Emmanuel Henderson gets us started with this $20 super chat. Who is your best prospect in this year's draft? So I'm just going to go overall NFL draft, and then we'll talk about some prospects for the Philadelphia Eagles here. My favorite overall player in the 2025 draft class is Abdul Carter out of Penn State. I think what he was able to do in his first year playing edge rusher full-time was incredible. And he has a natural feel for the position. He has the speed, burst, twitch, pass rushing arsenal of moves, and knack for getting after the quarterback that can make him a dominant player at the NFL level. And I just think that he's going to be a very good pro if he's able to stay healthy for a really long time. His game, his style of play just translates to the next level. And the numbers that he put up at Penn State, going up against some really talented offensive linemen, week in and week out pretty much, was really impressive. And then in the college football playoff, he's dealing with that shoulder injury, and it didn't bother him at all. So he's my favorite player in this entire draft class. My favorite player as of right now, with about a month to go until the NFL draft, for the Eagles at 32, might be Walter Nolen. Walter Nolen out of Ole Miss is a defensive tackle who, coming out of high school, was a number 1 overall recruit in the country. He is very explosive and violent at the line of scrimmage. I really like his motor. Always plays to the whistle and sometimes through it. He's really good with quickness to beat interior offensive linemen as a pass rusher. He needs to refine his moves there a little bit, but he's also really good against the run. And if you're thinking about a Milton Williams type of comp or prototype, Walter Nolen has a lot of those same traits. So favorite overall player, Abdul Carter. Favorite player right now for the Eagles, given importance of the position, need, what you lost, and potential, Walter Nolen. I also really like Malachi Starks at that safety spot. Next up, Cool Rains. Thoughts on the rumors that Dak Prescott might be getting traded to the Cleveland Browns. So this was a story that really took off this week, that the Browns are closing in on a trade for Dak Prescott. And it came from, I believe, a former radio host in Cleveland who now is a little bit older and has his own YouTube channel. And I'm going to just pull up some information here on the fly so that I can fully fill everybody in. First of all, there's nothing to this. And here's why. And I'll give you a couple of reasons why. Dak Prescott's contract that he signed going into last year includes a no trade clause, a no franchise tag clause, and a no transition tag clause. It also has 4 void years from 2029 through 2032. The contract, which had 1 year left at $29 million, has $129 million fully guaranteed at signing, and another $40 million is fully guaranteed by March of 2025. And the report came from Bruce Drennan, who said that the Browns are working towards a trade for Dak Prescott. He said he had sources inside the Browns building that were telling him that. But given the dead money, the no trade clause, there's no way Dak Prescott, who, by the way, is building a new house in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, just signed that deal, is now going to waive his no trade clause to go to the Cleveland Browns. And for the Cowboys and the dead money charge, it doesn't make a lot of sense either. Because let me see exactly what the dead money charge is, if I can pull it up really quickly. I'm pretty sure it might be over like $100 million is what I believe I saw. And so it just doesn't make sense for Dallas. It doesn't make sense for Dak. It doesn't make sense for Cleveland. If you're the Browns and you're at number 2, why don't you just reset the quarterback clock? You're already paying Deshaun Watson. I know Andrew Berry has pulled off some financial gymnastics there, but that contract in the trade has been a disaster. And just draft Shedeur Sanders at number 2, because I think Cam Ward is going number 1. And that's also why it makes no sense that Myles Garrett signed that contract. It made no sense. But he said it was all about winning. It was all about the cash. Emmanuel Henderson, again, $20. Who is the best prospect at tight end if the Eagles trade Dallas Goedert or release him? Do you think the Eagles are going to draft a wide receiver in the later rounds? I think they could draft a wide receiver in the later rounds. They, of course, took Johnny Wilson and Anaya Smith last year. Both players got some playing time on a team that won the Super Bowl. So if they can make leaps in their development, you have them. You have Jahan Dotson under contract. Obviously, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith both signed contract extensions last year. So I think you're good at that wide receiver spot. Maybe they take a chance on a wide receiver in the late rounds. I will say it is a very thin and weak wide receiver class. So that combined with the Eagles being set at that position, maybe they don't go that route. As far as tight ends to replace Dallas Goedert with, if the Eagles trade him or release him, it's an awesome tight end class. It's headlined by Tyler Warren out of Penn State, who has a big body like Gronk, but can pick up yards after the catch with angry runs like George Kittle. And he has positional versatility that's extremely rare. When he was at Penn State, he lined up as a Wildcat quarterback. He lined up as a center. He lined up as a fullback, H-back, slot receiver. He lined up out wide. He is an incredibly unique and special player. And if there's any way that Tyler Warren falls in the middle of the first round, I'm honestly, if I'm Howie Roseman, debating on trading 32 and a future first or a second to move up to take Tyler Warren. Because I think that he can be one of the best tight ends in the NFL starting year 1. He would be a cost-controlled player for the next 5 years if you exercise that 5th-year option. He'd be very affordable, much cheaper than Dallas Goedert if you trade Goedert away, who has a cap hit this upcoming season in the range of $11, $12, $13 million, and the rich would get richer. So Tyler Warren, best tight end in this class. Colston Loveland out of Michigan, probably tight end too. Players who are more realistic to the Eagles, if they trade out of 32, if they reach for a tight end at 32, Mason Taylor out of LSU had a really good pro day. He ran very well. Elijah Arroyo out of Miami is a seam stretching tight end. Harold Fannin played at Bowling Green State. The Eagles hired Scott Laughlin as their quarterbacks coach, who was the head coach for Fannin at Bowling Green State, and he had more than 100 catches. But he's more of a tweener. I don't think he's a natural tight end. I think he's more of a fullback. And so those are some of the best tight ends in this class. And I think they're all in play for Philadelphia, probably outside of Tyler Warren. Eagles Super Bowl gear, I have mine on. It's available for you to get yourselves. And if you've already gotten some, get some more. I know I've put in a couple of orders already. You know what link I use? That one down below. chatsports.com/EaglesSB. You know what it stands for? Eagles Super Bowl, because the Eagles are Super Bowl champions. I'm trying not to be obnoxious, but no one likes us. We don't care. And the Eagles are Super Bowl 59 champions. I'll never forget that night. You won't either. So celebrate it with some great gear. You use that link down below. It takes you to our friends at Fanatics. They then know that Chase Sr., your boy, your fearless leader, and Chat Sports and Eagles Now sent you. They have everything you need Hats, shirts, hoodies, jerseys, memorabilia, chatsports.com/EaglesSB. That's where I got this shirt. Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP. Cowboys fans, suck it. X, is Justin Simmons worth the contract? Justin Simmons isn't going to sign for that much money. He is not the 4-time second-team All-Pro that he used to be. And I think his play last year backed that up. He's a player who is declining a little bit, but he's a player who can still really play. He can get by with being a cerebral safety, having a high football IQ, playing with feel and instincts. It also helps that he knows this Vic Fangio defense like the back of his hand. Why? Well, Vic Fangio coached him for multiple seasons when Fangio was the head coach of the Broncos. Christian Parker, the Eagles defensive backs coach, was also on that staff. So Justin Simmons said himself a couple of weeks ago, the Eagles are high on the list of teams that he's looking at joining and signing with in free agency. And it won't be for a fat contract. It will be very affordable. Skeptic Form. Do you think the Eagles should get Julian Blackmon? Will they draft the safety? Look, Malachi Starks is a really good player. Malachi Moore out of Alabama is a player who the Eagles met with formally at the NFL Combine. He'd be available a little bit later. I think that even if the Eagles sign a Justin Simmons or sign a Julian Blackmon, that's Julian Blackmon or Justin Simmons. Let's just say a veteran, right? Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown, Tristan McCullum. 4 safeties on the roster. You can still draft another safety and be fine. If that veteran doesn't sign for that much, you cut him. If you don't like Tristan McCullum, you can let him go. Although some people inside that building are very high on Tristan McCullum. But you have some flexibility there with what you can do. Joe Lord, thoughts on Moro Ajomo? I thought he made strides last year. I think that he can easily replace Milton Williams. I like Moro Ajomo a lot. I liked him as a late-round pick coming out of Texas. He is a similar player to Milton Williams who has pass-rushing chops. But Milton Williams, while he was the second highest-graded pass-rushing defensive tackle in football last year, he was not good against the run. Moro Ajomo is good at getting after the quarterback. He's a little bit better against the run. Moro Ajomo last year had an 82.6 pass rush grade. So Milton Williams was second. Moro Ajomo was fifth. He had an overall grade of 68. That was 39th among 219 interior defensive linemen. His run defense grade was 54.7. He had 26 hurries and 31 pressures in 268 pass rush snaps. If he gets up to 500, those numbers can skyrocket. Now, he didn't have any sacks in the regular season, but you saw him in the Super Bowl. We've seen his growth as a player. He can be really good. And I think that's part of the reason why the Eagles let Milton Williams go, because they think that Ajomo is a really quality player, an asset who's under contract for 2 more years. What do you think? What is the biggest need on this Philadelphia Eagles roster? Comment down below. Share your thoughts with me. And as always, thanks for watching.